Hi there, welcome to week 2, session 5, which is all about the hips again. So this session we're going to work a little bit more on more hip opening poses and maybe holding them for a little bit longer. So remember, if you've got a cushion, if you've got blocks, always useful to have around. And they do help. They do help you find that perfect positioning sometimes. So don't be afraid to use them. Don't feel like you're cheating. They really do help your practice. All right, let's sit up tall, shall we? Spine long, shoulders relaxed. Remember again, if sitting in this position doesn't feel good, sit on a block, sit on a cushion. Remember, this is beginners. We are working our way up. We're figuring it all out. So if your hips are tight, stiff, take it easy. Be kind to yourself. Take a big breath. And another one, big deep breath. One more, see if you can send that breath all the way down into those hips. Nice, okay, just leaning back onto the hands. Bring your feet out in front. We're just going to windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Couple more. Nice, coming back to the centre. Let's find all fours. So remember, in your all fours, everything is in line. Wrists under shoulders, knees are hip distance apart. We're going to lift this left leg out to the side and we're going to take some big circles with this knee. See how big you can make these circles. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Noticing if there's any restriction, any clicking, any popping, any weirdness going on in this hip. Change direction, send it the other way. Again, remember, big circles, as big as you can make them and as slow and controlled as you can. One more. Nice, okay, bring that knee down. We'll do exactly the same on the opposite side. Lifting out to the side first, and then big circles, control. And really pay attention. Remember to find that breath as well, deep breaths. And change direction, send it the other way. Nice, bringing that knee down. Taking that little shimmy from side to side. Nice. Okay, now we are going to bring our right foot forwards. So we're finding our low lunge position. Now remember, if you have your blocks, they really do help when you're in this lunge position. So maybe placing the blocks either side of that front foot. And then just notice whether you can slide that back knee back a little bit. Now remember, knee over ankle. You want to feel a stretch in this hip flexor. Maybe using those blocks. And then we're just going to take a little kind of rock back into our half splits. Now don't panic, it's not what you think. Okay, so all we're going to do is send the hips back, keep the hips high, straighten out this front leg and flex the foot. What does that feel like in the back of that front leg? Now roll forwards again, finding that lunge position. So back to this hip flexor. And then roll it back again, noticing the back of this front leg. Then forwards again. And this time take it back, flex the foot, hands walk in a little bit. Maybe you need those blocks again here. That's all good. Take a big breath in and lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, maybe you can fold over this front leg a little bit more. But remember, if you've got tight hamstrings right now, be kind, be gentle. This is all new. Big deep breaths, and maybe you didn't know your hamstrings were tight until right this moment. Take Take another breath. Nice. Now rolling forwards, back into that lunge position, and then coming back into your all fours. Little shimmy from side to side. And let's do that on the opposite side. So your left foot goes forwards. Maybe you can slide that back knee back a little bit depending on how much flexibility you've got in that right side. Knee over ankle. Maybe using those blocks. And then sending the hips back. Straighten out this front leg. Flex the foot. What is this one doing? Roll forwards. And back. Forwards. And back. Holding it here. Maybe walk the hands in a little bit. Inhale as you lengthen the spine. And exhale, maybe you can just fold a little bit closer to this leg. Noticing this left hamstring this time. Take a big deep breath. Keep those hips nice and high, so don't let the hips drop down towards the foot. It's okay, roll forwards into that lunge position. And then back into that tabletop. Have that little shimmy again from side to side. And then coming down onto the belly, we're going to find that Sphinx pose. So remember, those elbows and shoulders are in line. Hands are shoulder width apart. You're not going to slump here. You're going to lift up. So you've got a nice, strong, broad chest. Gaze is forwards. Now we're going to add a little bit to this traditional Sphinx by adding a half frog leg. So slide your left knee up and flex this foot. So you've got, literally have got a frog leg. Now try and keep facing front. Your left hip may have lifted off the ground, but what I want you to try and do is not hold any tension where you don't need it. So figure it out. Maybe close your eyes and take some deep breaths now, seeing if that left hip area will soften. Keep breathing. Noticing again, where do you feel this? Nice, okay, we're going to slide this leg back nice and slowly. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So making sure everything is in the right position. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. You're lifting up, broad chest. Now slide this right knee up to the side and flex out that right foot. Facing forwards. Close your eyes, maybe find your breath. Notice what this right hip is doing. Deep breaths. You may feel this obviously in that lower back as well, because that's the Sphinx pose, that back bend. Three more deep breaths. One more. It's okay, sliding this leg back nice and slowly. Maybe just give those hips a little rock from side to side. Nice, then lower the chest down, sliding the hands underneath the shoulders and pushing up to find your tabletop, your all fours. Take a little shimmy into those hips again, side to side. And then we're going to find our downward facing dog. So spread the fingers wide, grip the mat, tuck your toes slowly up and back. So remember, legs do not have to be straight, heels don't have to be down, but your back does need to be nice and straight. So take a big breath here. See if you can tip your tailbone a bit higher. Now then, from our down dog, we're going to find our yogi squat and malasana. So you're going to start to walk the feet in, walking them wide. So you're taking your feet to the width of your mat, heels on, toes turn out. Now remember, if this one is too much, you can sit on your cushion and do exactly the same. So sit on the cushion, taking the knees nice and wide, elbows to the inside, palms together, and just gently pushing out those knees with the elbows. Yeah, if that's enough for you, that's fine. You're still getting into those hips. But if you can, taking that yogi squat. Maybe if you need the hands down on the ground, also fine. Try not to tip forward too much. Try and keep the shoulders back. Spine nice and long. Try and relax the face. Three more deep breaths. Last one. Nice. One hand in front, one hand behind, and sit the bottom down, bringing the soles of your feet together in your Baddha Konasana or your bound angle, grabbing a hold of those toes. And as you're pulling on the toes, you're going to push on those knees. Try and keep your spine nice and long. Find that breath. One more. Nice. Okay, now we're going to take our seated straddle pose. So send the legs out as wide as you can. Remember, it's your practice. So you find your point. If you've got a cushion, you might want to put the cushion in front. So sit up nice and tall, first of all. Take a big breath in. And then as you breathe out, let's fold all the way down to your point, remember. So don't take it any further than you can. Using the breath. Okay, slowly start to come all the way up. Sit up nice and tall. And then ever so slowly draw those knees in. Again, planting the feet down on the ground. We're going to finish how we started with that windshield wiper. So hands come behind and then just drop the knees to the right and then to the left. And again. And left. Come back to the centre. Sit yourself up nice and tall. Take a big breath in, reach all the way up. Palms together, breathing out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.